It's the big one, it's the Ashes.
That is sublime.
At such an iconic test ground. It's really exciting.
The blast at Trent Bridge is so much more than cricket. But what is it? It's not about laws. It's about high scores. Stumps uprooted. The tunes. The roars. Forget the history. We make the history. It's not about afternoon tea. That's a bit of me. So forget the jargon, follow the marching, rumbling, beating heart of a city as it crosses the bridge from the old to the bold. Because we're not gentlemen, you see. We're outlaws. The blast at Trent Bridge, more than a game.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to Trent Bridge Live. Yes, it's Friday night here at Trent Bridge. I'm glad to say that the sun is out and we have Vitality Blast action for you once again as the Worcestershire Rapids are here visiting your Outlaws. And I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by a certain Mr. Ollie Stone. Ollie, how are you, sir?
Yeah, good, thank you. Beautiful evening for it. Bit warmer than Tuesday.
Just a little bit warmer than Tuesday. If you was here on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure you would have seen it on the stream. You were just saying that you was watching the stream and it looked a bit cold. It was absolutely freezing on Tuesday, but the sun's out, the crowd are piling in. Worcestershire Rapids are in town. You know a couple of them from your time at the Birmingham Bears. They're 3 from 3. It's a big game tonight, isn't it?
It is. We've got obviously a few big games in the next couple of days as well. So yeah, a win here tonight would go down nicely. And yeah, they're on a good run of form. And yeah, hopefully they don't have a day out tonight.
That would be very nice indeed, wasn't it? 3-3 for us. We've got 3 games in 3 days, 2 at home, 1 away. Just for that schedule, how nice would it be to get off to a winning start in that 3-3?
It'll be massive. Obviously, we were disappointed how it went the other night, and yeah, the boys are chomping at the bit to get out there. Another big crowd looking like it's spilling in. So yeah, the boys are are up for it, and yeah, fingers crossed, fresh wicket tonight, short boundaries, hopefully a high scorer.
Everything that T20 is all about. Just to let you know that the toss has obviously taken place about 15 minutes ago. Stephen Mullaney won that toss and he has chosen to have a bowl. It's something that we're very used to here at Trent Bridge, bowling first and chasing that target down. But for you personally, does it really matter whether you chase or whether you set a target as a bowler?
No, I guess not. I think you're obviously looking to take wickets regardless of whether you bowl first or bat first. I think we've seen here how the scores can get quite high, up to close to 200 at times. So yeah, it's always one of those with a shorter boundary one side, it can be tricky to defend. So I think, yeah, the bowlers can go out there. They'll probably be able to relay some information with what balls are the trickiest to hit on there, so the batsmen can go about their business and look to take that total down.
Do you think in Mull's kind of thinking, the fact that we didn't get over the line on Tuesday against Yorkshire, chasing a target, that it's time to go again and maybe learn from how we played on Tuesday? Potentially.
I think we didn't bowl and field as well as we'd like to. Sort of missed our Yorkers at the end there. Maybe if we'd have 10-15 runs off that total, it probably makes that chase a lot easier. And yeah, I don't know whether that will be in the back of his mind or whether he just prefers to chase. I've not been around the T20 this year, unfortunately, so I don't know his thinking too much. But I think it's just such a tricky place to defend, and I don't think any score here is a match-winning one. So yeah, I think that's it. No, you don't.
We saw that last year against the Birmingham Bears, but we won't talk about that now, do we? Right, let's just let you know about your Outlaws selected 11 for this fixture. Joe Clark currently has a strike rate of 181.48. Number 33, Joe Clark. He's on back-to-back 50s. He is a world-class batter when it comes to T20 cricket. He wears the number 3 this year. It's Alex Hales. Your leading run scorer for the Outlaws this year, it is Colin Munro. And ever present in this year's T20 for the Outlaws, he has the number 14 on his back. It is Matthew Montgomery. Leading the way with the wickets, it's your captain in T20 this year, it is Stephen Mullaney. 1 stumping and 2 catches so far this campaign for number 23. He takes the gloves once again, it's Tom Morse. He has the number 45 on his back. He's a homegrown player. He's proud to be an Outlaw. It is Lyndon James. He took his 200th blast wicket in the last game against the Yorkshire Vikings. Only the second player to ever do that. It is Samit Patel. Shaheen Shah Afridi. He currently has 205 T20 wickets to his name. He has the number 10 on his back. He's usually tasked with bowling in the power play. He has the number 20 on his shirt. It is Matt Carter. And the one change from the previous game, Conor McKerr comes in for Jack Brooks. Conor McKerr has currently taken 4 wickets for the Outlaws. That is your Nottinghamshire Outlaws selected 11 for this fixture. Okay, Ollie, that is the 11 there. Very quickly on Mr. Samit Patel, he loves playing T20 here at Trent Bridge. He is Mr. Notts to a lot of these fans. 200 T20 wickets. I mean, we don't have to tell him how special that is because I'm sure he's told everybody, but it's a special achievement, isn't it?
It is, it's a phenomenal effort. The way he goes about his business makes bowling look so easy, especially in the power play if he's called upon. He's a wily character, he uses his pace well, and trying to have a go at him in the nets, he makes me look stupid. So yeah, it's no surprise he's took that many wickets and hopefully adds to it tonight.
Let's hope so, and I'm sure we'll know if he does because he likes to celebrate, let's be honest. One person that I just want to talk about is Colin Munro. As I just mentioned there, he's currently leading the Outlaws in runs. From a left-hander point of view, the viewers at home can just see very shortly, he can play off the leg side, he loves to cut through, obviously on the offside as well. But from a bowler's point of view, how do you approach facing left-handers and somebody like that currently has a strike rate of over 150?
Yeah, he's he's a scary batter up the top of the order. He's destructive. He's shown he's not afraid to go for it first ball as well. I think he's hit a couple of boundaries to get off the mark this year, and it's just so tricky when someone can play all around the ground and be destructive. It makes you really hone in on what you need to do, and having a left-right combination up the top as well can be really tricky. It makes you need to adjust your line. It can be scary, and the way he plays spin as well. He's renowned for his famous slog, his reverse slog sweep. But yeah, he's shown his class, and it is once he gets going, you can't bowl to him.
It's very difficult. We saw some shots of him there. Highest score so far of 60. Do you think he'll be looking to maybe push that on, get close to 100? Because we've seen a few hundreds in the competition so far already.
I think so. I think he's probably frustrated he hasn't gone on a bit more. I think he got himself in the other night and then couldn't quite push on. I think he's probably not quite found his rhythm and the way he likes to go about it, and the fact he's done that and still scored that many runs is obviously scary, and fingers crossed he comes into a bit of form tonight. New pitch, sun's out, small boundaries. I think it's definitely suiting him.
What more could you ask for as a batter? I mean, I'm not a batter, so I don't really know, but I thought I'd sound convincing there, to be honest. If we just take a look at the table, just to update the viewers at home about the table, because there's been some games since the last one that we've had here. You will literally see that obviously we are mid-table at the moment. If you look at that table there, you'll see it's quite compact. Worcester 3 from 3. Notts 2 from, obviously 2 losses, 2 wins. When you look at that table, it just highlights again what an important game this is for the Outlaws.
Yeah, it is, and we're playing 3 teams that are all above us in the table. So, I mean, if someone offered you 2 out of 3 wins over the next 3 days, I think you'd snap your hand off. And yeah, it's massive. It's still very early in the comp, but if you get a good run of games under you now, it'll go a long way to helping you qualify. And also the net run rate there, we're just hovering above the 0. So yeah, if we can get a couple of good victories in as well, it could push that up, and that becomes crucial as you go later on in the competition.
Just to let people know, like, how crucial is that net run rate for people that might not know what that's about?
It can be crucial. Like, the amount of times teams are even on points going into that last game, needing to win by X amount of runs, and it really puts teams under pressure, and it's basically like you've got an extra point. And I think, like you say, although you don't want to focus on it too much, it is always a hot topic in the dressing room. People are saying, if you're chasing a low score, let's try and go out there and attack it and finish it off as quickly as you can, because it can be so crucial going into the last stages of the tournament.
Now, let's talk about the Rapids. You've known a couple of them, like we said, from your time at Birmingham Bears. Adam Hose, for example, he can be a disruptive batter. What can we expect from the Worcestershire Rapids, and potentially Adam Hose in particular?
Yeah, they've changed it around a little bit up top. They used to having Ed Pollock open. He slipped down to more of trying to be a finisher now. And then, yeah, you've got the likes of Adam Hose in that middle order, who this year has had a really good start in 4-day cricket and brought it into T20. He said to me there he's really enjoying the new challenge that he's got at Worcester. It's a little bit of a different role, but he's loving it, and he's thriving under that pressure. And I mean, he's scored quite a few runs, so hopefully he's due a low score tonight. But he's very destructive. If he gets in, he'll definitely attack the spin, and I'm sure there'll be definitely some boundaries if he does get in. But fingers crossed he doesn't. And they just, again, like in any team, they bat a long way down, so you have to be on it from ball 1 to that 20th over.
We've seen that in T20, and we see that in the Outlaws 11 as well. You don't have kind of like your tail enders now, do you? Like, even you're at number 11 can smack a quick 20, 30, etc. Yeah,
it's actually quite frustrating as a bowler. You used to be able to just sort of settle in and towards the end hit a length and you sort of get away with it. But now we've seen, I think it was Adam Finch at the end of the Yorkshire game, he hit 3 sixes in the last over to chase down 18. So yeah, like you say, you always have to be on it. They're never out the game, and I guess that's the joy of T20, and which is why so many people are coming in and watching it, is because until that last ball's bowled, you just never know.
You never know, indeed. Well, it's been great having you. You're going to join us at the interval break as well, aren't you? I don't know whether you knew that, but you are. Right, the players are due out any moment, so I'm going to hand you over to your commentary team and enjoy the first innings.
Dave Bracegirdle.
Thank you, Colin. Good evening, everybody. Another beautiful evening weather-wise over Trent Bridge. We've got clear blue skies. There's been plenty of warm sunshine this afternoon, and here come the gladiators making their way down the steps at the far end of the ground. These huge flags that have been very much a feature of the first couple of games this season. We've not seen those before in the 20 years of the T20 Blast. They're being waved as Notts in their golden green strip take to the field. Stephen Mullaney winning the toss and opting to bowl first. He does like a chase, Stephen Mullaney, although it went badly wrong here on Tuesday night when Notts lost to Worcestershire. 18 teams in the T20 Blast, 9 in the north, 9 in the south. Curiously, Notts are the only one of the 18 that have played 4, won 2 and lost 2. Everybody else has either won 4, lost none, won none, lost 4 or 3 and 1 or 1 and 3. Notts the only one, 2 and 2, and that, I guess, just about sums up where they've been in these 4 games. They've been inconsistent. At times they've looked as if they're capable of taking down anybody. At other times they've looked, sadly, like the Notts Outlaws of 2022. It looks as if it's going to be Shaheen Shah Afridi to get things up and running. One change for Notts. Jack Brooks, who got 4 wickets the other night, is out. Conor McCurr is in. We'll be underway in just a second, so just time for quick pre-match thoughts from our summariser this evening, as Colin described him, former Warwickshire and Notts player, Kyle van Vollenhoven. Good evening, fella.
Good evening everyone. Hope everyone's had a very nice Friday and looking forward to the weekend, as I am. I think we're in for a great day tonight, great evening worth of cricket.
You were with us a week ago, Kyle. Saw Notts defeat Derbyshire. We've been to Old Trafford, been to Durham and been back here. You've also been on your travels, which we may or may not touch on later on over the last few days. But let's hope we can get back-to-back Friday wins here at Trent Bridge. Don't think there's as many in at the moment. Might just be parking the cars or on the concourse, or some last-minute refreshments being bought, but not quite as many in. Shaheen Shah Afridi in to Brett D'Oliveira, and we're away with runs for Worcestershire in their all dark strip boundary to Brett D'Oliveira, punching it through the offside away towards the Fox Road stand, and just slightly over pitched and slightly wide of that off peg by Afridi.
Nice way to get off the mark, lovely little punch through the covers, and D'Oliveira is off the mark with a boundary.
Experience now. Brett D'Oliveira, his 125th match in this format. He's had scores of 11, 2 and 4 so far, so not yet found his best form. And he's found it so far from the first 2 deliveries, overcompensated by Afridi. First one was too wide outside the off stump, this too wide down the leg side, and clipped away for another boundary. Decent start.
Nice start. Help yourself on his pads, fine leg, up in the circle, and that races away to the boundary.
Afridi just having a word with the skipper, wants an adjustment to the field. It's just inconsistent, poor bowling effectively. One wide outside the off stump, one wide down the leg side. Notts have got a third man and a deep square leg as Shaheen Shah Afridi bowls one that D'Oliveira punches up to Mullaney at mid-off. They take a single and exchange ends, so down on strike for the first time is Michael Bracewell. The Worcestershire side, D'Oliveira and Bracewell, you have already heard me mention. Jack Haynes, Adam Hose, Kashi Fali, calling him Kashi this year. He's been in a decent bit of form. The experienced wicketkeeper batter Ben Cox, Ed Pollock, who bats down the order these days, Mitchell Santner, another New Zealand international who's been away with Chennai in the IPL, Adam Finch, Dylan Pennington and Pat Brown. Afridi to bowl to Bracewell, and he hits it back, or pushes it back to Shaheen Shah Afridi. This Bracewell, one of the New Zealand Bracewell dynasty, is 32, is the cousin of Doug. His cousin and his 2 uncles both played Test cricket. His father and grandfather played first-class cricket. We had Doug here, the last county championship match against Essex. He's got a stint with Essex. And Michael with his first spell here for Worcestershire. Nice drive up to Mulaney at mid-on, and there's no run. I think Mulaney had just inched forward a little bit there because D'Oliveira took one to him at the start of the over, didn't he?
Yep, very nice. Just clever captaincy, being very aware and realising that Bracewell not off the market will look to get off the mark quite quickly, and he stopped that.
Worcestershire in a very dark strip. I don't know if it is black or very, very dark blue with a pale blue helmet, white names and numbers on the back as Afridi concludes the first over, which one thuds into the thigh pad of Bracewell. So it got out of the over quite well there, Shaheen Shah Afridi, with just one run from the last 4 balls, but the damage had been done a little earlier with those 2 boundaries. Rapids 9 without loss.
Very nice start from the Rapids, really, really good, but well said, Dave. Worcester come back, and they are 9 for no loss after the first. Once again, starting with Carter from the far end.
Big tall off spinner, Matt Carter has been prone, I've mentioned it, but he has been prone to just dragging down his first delivery or two at the start of his spells in this competition this year. This is his 64th T20 match. He's actually got 49 blast wickets for Notts, Matt Carter. D'Oliveira, fairly diminutive right-hander. Carter bowls, better line, better length certainly from Carter, and this one's just played to mid-wicket. Talk about the Bracewell dynasties, of course, in New Zealand, the D'Oliveira dynasty. This one's cut away to backward point, and there will be a couple of runs. Nice bit of fielding out there in front of the William Clark stand. Who's that doing the fielding? I thought that was Calvin Harrison.
I think it is.
So Notts have got a sub-fielder on almost straight away. Carter helped away down the leg side, and that will go for 4. Nice looking shot, but a poor delivery. It is Calvin Harrison, so we've just got to have a little bit of a look as to who isn't on the field, or if maybe there's been a late change. Nice boundary, just dragged down that leg side by Carter, and D'Oliveira is quickly into his work. There's Matt Carter in again. This one swept away. Cries of catch. Conor McCurr on the fence. Can't get there. It's 6 runs. McCurr's a big tall fella. He leapt high. Might have brushed his fingertips. Couldn't either catch it or drag it back into play. Throw it back into play. And it goes through his fingers and away for 6.
Carter will feel unlucky there. I think he probably deserved one there, I would have thought.
Only just cleared the fielder. Carter in again to Brett D'Oliveira, who chipped this one away towards square leg. They've run the first one quickly, and that's all they'll get. 22 without loss. Worcestershire Rapids here. This is a lightning fast start. All 22 to D'Oliveira, by the way. Bracewell, who's down onto strike, has faced 3 dot balls. 6, 3 and 4 his 3 contributions so far, so he's not yet started. This next one is worked away behind square by Bracewell. He'll get a single. 23 without loss. Well done, Kyle. You've been doing some identifying whilst I was talking there. Who's not on the field?
I can't seem to see Joe Clark on the field. So Calvin is on for Joe. I can't see Joe. Anyway.
It's going to be Conor McCurr to bowl the 3rd over. 23 without loss. Worcestershire Rapids here, put in by Stephen Mulaney. Split record here at Trent Bridge between the two sides over the years. 5 wins to Notts, 5 wins to Worcestershire. Notts have won the last 2 years, and prior to that Worcestershire won 3 in a row. Curiously, Notts have never lost at New Road. They've won every time they've gone there, apart from a couple of years ago when there was a tie. Been 1 or 2 rained off as well. Here is Conor McCurr to the left-handed Bracewell, who will pull this out onto the leg side. They'll run a couple of runs. Fielded by Matthew Montgomery. 25 without loss. Congratulations to the representatives of both these sides on England duty. Of course, probably heard yesterday Stuart Broad with a 5-foot. Ben Duckett in the runs for England overnight and today. Went on and got 182. And Josh Tong, the Worcestershire player, on debut. Last time I looked, he's taken 3 wickets. Here's Conor McCurt to bowl to Bracewell. Slams this onto the leg side. Fielded by fellow Kiwi international Colin Munro. It's a good stop by Munro. So we need to know, really. I guess we'll know definitively if Calvin Harrison comes on to bowl, but we need to know if something happened to Joe Clarke in the warm-ups and there was a late change to the Notts 11. Very unusual that as early as that Harrison's on the field. Here's Conor McCurt in to Bracewell. He will pull this away to Montgomery. Colin and Kyle have been scouring for any official release that might have indicated that there'd been a late change. I can't recall, just trying to think there, I can't recall anything in the first over that Clarke might have been involved in. There were 2 boundaries which he certainly wouldn't have had any chance with, and then just a push single. I didn't notice until the second over that Harrison was on, but I didn't notice him coming on and Clarke going off, if that makes sense. McCurt bowls. This is slammed towards us. Will just about clear mid-off. It got lots of vertical, not too much horizontal, but it does run away for 4 with Shaheen Shah Afridi in hot pursuit. And the Rapids, unbeaten Worcestershire Rapids, 3 wins, 30 without loss in the third.
Slightly overpitched by McCurt, and D'Oliveira has lofted that straight over the top. Bit of a teasing chase for Afridi, but ball wins in their end.
I think that's Joe Clarke by the pavilion door at the far end. Here's Conor McCurt into Brett D'Oliveira, who's on 26. This runs down the leg side and they'll take a single. I feel very, very old looking and seeing that Brett D'Oliveira is 31. I played against his granddad. Admittedly, had his career. He was playing one of those exhibition games, you know, the old England 11 against the club I was playing for at the time, but did play against dear old Basil. Bracewell has 4 from just 7 deliveries. Conor McCurt, the on loan Surrey quick, bowls, and Bracewell heaves this onto the leg side. He'll come back for a couple. Again, Montgomery doing the fielding. And it's 33 without loss after 3. Looks a bone-hard wicket. They've not played on it yet this season. Brand new wicket. And fast outfield as ever here at Trent Bridge. So it could well be a run fest, and Notts are going to need to keep taking wickets, and plenty of them by the looks of it.
Speaking about run fest, Joe Clarke is back on the field. Don't know what that was for, but Calvin's now gone off. Gone back to 12th man duties for the day.
I've got mixed feelings about that. I should say straight away, I'm delighted that Joe Clarke's there, because Notts are more than likely going to need him, but just waiting for the moment in this series of matches when Calvin Harrison gets an opportunity. I'm sure it will come around, but you certainly don't want him just to sort of be forced into a starting 11 at the very last minute due to injury. Shaheen Shah Afridi is going to get a second over inside the power play, but this time from the pavilion end. We're playing just about in line with the main pavilion door, the steps at the far end. And all of that end is blacked out. Huge sheets up just to give the batters a little bit of a sighter. And it's Afridi into bowl to D'Oliveira, who's on 26, punches it away for 4 more. See ball, hit ball.
That's a cracking shot. That is an absolutely cracking shot, straight through the covers, on the up. Wow.
Looks in very fine fettle here. Brett D'Oliveira is on 30 not out from 11 balls, 37 without loss. Afridi has already gone for 13 runs. Here he comes, the Pakistan international. Bowls again, nice and quickly off the outside portion of the bat. Runs to Lyndon James at backward point or short third up inside the ring. Call it what you will, but no runs, a precious dot ball.
few and far between to Oliveira at the start of this game.
Battle very much already intense and underway here between Afridi and D'Oliveira, and D'Oliveira has to bob underneath this one. That's good, quick, fast bowling from Afridi. It was well directed. One for the over, says our umpire. Our officials for this match, Paul Baldwin and Surendran Shanmugan. We've had Surrey, I think, once before officiating the Notts game. That was down at Taunton last year in the Royal London. Paul Baldwin, who didn't play first-class cricket, standing at point. We've had him officiating here many times over the years. D'Oliveira guides us again to Lyndon James.
Looks like he seems to have found a bit more of a radar here, Afridi.
Just going through his variations a little bit, isn't he? I fancy he'd taken the pace off that one.
I think it could be a night for that. Once again, looks like a belter of a wicket at Trent Bridge. Don't often not get that though, do you?
Lyndon James, Stephen Mullaney, Samit Patel, I'm sure will all get a bowl this evening. This was chipped up in the air and there's a wicket for... No, it's been spilled! Oh my word! It was just dollied up on the leg side. A real opportunity that should have been taken there, and Colin Munro has grasped what really can only go down as a very simple chance, although he was backpedaling, got both hands to it and should have taken it.
Most definitely. We spoke about Afridi going through his change-ups and taking pace off the ball, and that's exactly what he did. For D'Oliveira, unfortunately, Munro not being able to hang on to it.
Brings Bracewell back onto strike. Seen precious little of it so far. He's made 6 from 8 balls. Afridi bowls. Oh, that's glorious. That is glorious. Straight down the ground for 4 runs, and Shaheen Shah Afridi's gone for 18 from 2 overs, and Worcestershire Rapids, well, they're living up to their name. 42 without loss after 4 overs.
Shot of the evening for me so far. Lovely. Textbook, straight drive, and there you go, Bracewell. What a lovely, lovely shot.
Stephen Mullaney, sure what's happening here. Stephen Mullaney just chatting to the umpire. Paul Baldwin being called across. Really don't know what's going on here. There's something, maybe they think there's a ball left. Showing 3.5 overs on the board. I don't think the umpires have correctly got it. We've got it down as 6 balls, 4, 0, 0, 1.
By the looks of it, everyone seems to have got 6 balls except for the umpires.
No
ball.
Is it a no ball? Don't know. Well, you're not missing any cricket, folks, at the moment here at Trent Bridge as the crowd continues to build. The T20 blast between Notts Outlaws and Worcestershire Rapids, and still absolute confusion out there. You've only got to count to 6, fellas. Just have a chat. In fact, it has been called a no ball. So this is maybe. I just wonder if there was perhaps 3 outside the ring, or
I think so.
Some such, Kyle.
I think so. He definitely has an overstep, so that must be the reason that has been called a no ball.
Huge confusion. I think he signalled a free hit, though. He has. So Shaheen Shah Afridi not too thrilled. Can't change the field, of course, because it's the same batter. Well, that took an awful lot of sorting out, didn't it? Complete and utter confusion here. In the Game continues on DAB radio, and from 7 o'clock Jodie Law with Girls' Night In. As Afridi comes in, bowls this one, skewed away off the outside edge, high and away down to third for 4 runs, and that is now the end of the 4th over. 48 without loss. They're going along at a cracking old rate here. Yes, on DAB radio and on your smart speaker. If you want to listen to the normal programming after 7, it's Jodie Law with Girls' Night In.
Well, that would have really upset Mullaney. Last ball of the over, shouldn't have been bowled. Silly cricket, and it's cost him a boundary.
15 runs from that over. Afridi's figures, 2 overs, none for 24. He's arguing.
He's not happy.
Afridi with the umpire. We have seen a little bit of this in one or two of the games actually. He's not backwards at coming forwards if he's unhappy about things. We're going to get a bowling change obviously at this end. It's going to be Lyndon James as Mullaney continues to swish things around. The crowd just getting a little bit involved there, and one or two boos we could hear. Away to our left, the Fox Road side of the ground looks pretty full. They're all in the warm bit. They're looking into the sunshine, and rather less away to our right on the Bridgeford Road side of the ground. So it's going to be Lyndon James. Going to be bowling to Brett D'Oliveira. Looks desperate for a breakthrough. Tall, right arm medium pacer, former Oakham school pupil like Stuart Broad. Lyndon James comes in and bowls to D'Oliveira, gives him the ball of fullish width, which is just driven out as far as Matthew Montgomery. Matches so far, Lyndon James yet to take a wicket. He's had a couple of overs against Derbyshire, none for 15, same against Lancashire, none for 17, and one apiece in the last two games, none for 10 against Durham and none for 5 against Yorkshire. So it is just very much part of the rotation policy of Stephen Mullaney. Just get him in just to try and create something. 49 without losses. Bracewell slams this one into the offside and away for another boundary. Just advanced down the track, hits it away for 4, and the Worcestershire 50 up in the 5th over, 53 without loss. Looks a belter of a track, and they are belting it, Kyle.
Wow. Come down the wicket, giving himself a little bit of room to create, to allow himself to free up his hands, and he has absolutely nailed that. I don't think he could have hit it any harder, really.
Found the gap, raced away to the fence. Here's Lyndon James in again to Bracewell, who's on 18. He'll pull this into the leg side. It will fall short of Matthew Montgomery, who rushes in from the Fox Road side of the ground, wearing the sunglasses as he's looking into the sun, and bounces the ball into Moores. 54 without loss.
They had just changed the field before that ball. Now got 2 outs on the leg side to Bracewell. D'Oliveira back on strike now. Still the same field to D'Oliveira, deep square.
Yeah, one either side of the wicket. Everybody else obviously up inside the ring. James bowls, and this one's slammed towards us very, very high. Won't reach the gantry in front of us, but not far off. Just dips down in front of us and lands somewhere down below us, the front row of the Radcliffe Road lower, for 6 runs. That was a lovely clean strike.
Beautiful. Beautiful shot straight over the bowler's head. And that has gone all the way.
Occasionally in the past, when I've been downstairs in the press box, one or two of those have clattered into the window there, makes everybody jump. That might have done that. Here's Lyndon James in again, bouncer, slowish bouncer, and it's been called as a wide, and Lyndon James now doing the full teapot. He can't believe that decision by umpire Baldwin. Not feel at the moment everything's going against them, and they'd just best be advised, I would imagine, just to get on with things. Now Stephen Mullaney and Shaheen Shah Afridi having a word with the umpire.
I think Lyndon's got a point there. I think D'Oliveira has moved across, and that is what they have been asking the umpire. He has moved across, so how can that be a wide? But unfortunately, that's what it is.
He's not going to change his mind, Kyle, but I think Mullaney was just clarifying. So that's what we're doing for the rest of the evening. Yes, this one's gone straight up in the air. Now then, can Notts get this all-important breakthrough? They can't. Falls to ground, and then it span away from Colin Munro and away for 4. It was up there for a long, long time. Munro not getting into a position to be able to catch it, but these are very useful runs here. And at the moment, Rapids are on for a massive score, 65 already, and we're not yet through the end of the 5th over.
I don't know if Colin Munro's picked that up, you know, Dave. He's moved very, very, very late there. That's trickled across the boundary rope after the bounce.
Lyndon James has gone for 17, final ball of his over. Bowling to D'Oliveira, who's on 42, and pushes this into the offside, takes a single. So 66 after 5 overs. This is exactly what Worcestershire have been doing in their previous matches. Ed Pollock, a dangerous top order hitter, both for the Birmingham Bears and Worcestershire over the last few years. He's sort of been dropped down into the middle order, and D'Oliveira and Bracewell, although they haven't really put this sort of score on in any of the previous matches, they have got the potential to take down any bowling attack, and they're both looking good, Nick. And with 1 over to go of the power play, 66 without loss. More thoughts from Carl van Vollenhoven, and then to pick up commentary, got a Colin Frey.
Well, really nice start from the Rapids. I think they will be very pleased with those first 5 overs. Really nice start. They have really come here with a plan to Trent Bridge, and they so far have executed it fantastically. McCurr will continue from the top end.
Yep, Conor McCurr is the man that Notts are turning back to. And his first ball goes down the leg side. It's well taken by Tom Moores, but it's another wide. As Notts search for a much needed breakthrough here at Trent Bridge. 67 without loss. Effectively still after 5 overs, because there's another ball to be added to this, the 6th. D'Oliveira 43, Bracewell 19. And it is D'Oliveira facing McCurr. Just turns this one off his hip, and they've run quickly. There's a shy at the stumps from Colin Monroe, which is wide, and Notts are backing up, so no overthrows possible, and just a single taken.
Really good sharp running, very, very nice from D'Oliveira.
It's the other thing that's been a feature, hasn't it? I mean, they've hit everything very hard, and a lot of them have gone to the boundary. They haven't had to run, but when they have had to run, they've scampered very quickly. Here is McCurr again. Oh, that's 6. That's 6 from the moment it left his bat. That's about 7 rows back from the down from the back of the Smith Cooper stand from Bracewell. He's absolutely hammered that over cow corner for a huge 6. And it's 74 without loss. Bracewell on to 25.
You talk about hitting it hard, Colin. He has absolutely hit that incredibly hard, and those poor chairs up there have taken a pounding.
It's a pretty sparsely occupied stand tonight. Here's McCurr in again to Bracewell. He's gone the other way this time. He's gone over the offside, but this one's got more height than distance. It is safe, and it is not going to reach anywhere near the rope. And they've gone through for 2. It's in the air for a little while, but it was well over Stephen Mullaney up inside the circle. And so, as it came down from the angle, it never looked like it was going to trouble the rope this time. It's another couple though. 76 for no wicket. McCurr in again. Oh, he's deposited this into about the same area of the Smith Cooper stand. He came down the track, Bracewell, 2 paces, and has hammered that. That's gone about 3 rows from the back of the Smith Cooper stand, and this time it's a little bit closer to actual people, so I hope they're all okay, because he has absolutely middled that again for another maximum. 82 for no wicket.
Colin, I think he's been put down in the crowd there.
I'm not surprised. It was going at some rate of knots. Here's McCurr again. Down the pitch he comes again. He's not quite got hold of this, but he has played it over the top of long off. And it'll run away over Stephen Mullaney for another 4 in front of the pavilion. McCurr trudges back to his mark again. Another boundary. 86 for no wicket. That's 20 off the over so far. Still a ball to come. Bracewell onto 37. He's almost caught up D'Oliveira now. I think D'Oliveira was into his 20s before Bracewell had scored. Here's McCurr again, and this one is pitched up a little fuller and turned away out towards mid-wicket by Bracewell, just for a single this time, and that is the end of the power play, and Notts can get some cover on those boundaries at last, because that was an extraordinary 6 overs from Worcestershire. D'Oliveira has 44, Bracewell has 38, Notts haven't got a wicket. It's 87 without loss after 6.
Some incredible power hitting in those first 6 overs. Power play definitely belongs to the Rapids, and they can be incredibly happy with that start. Notts are looking like they're going to be chasing a really big score tonight, as Samit Patel is going to bowl the first over after the power play. Spread the field, Stephen Mullaney.
Oh, so many times over the last 20 years of T20 cricket have we seen Samit Patel come on at this stage of an innings and have an impact. He certainly needs to tonight. Notts needs something from somewhere. 87 for no wicket. Bracewell it is to face Samit Patel. Turns it away out onto the onside towards the circles at the mid-wicket area, and Shaheen Shah Afridi runs in from long on to field. Again, they've got through for 2.
Really big pockets of space out there to Bracewell's leg side in the gap between cow corner.
Here is Patel again, and this is a swing and a miss, but that's got some pace on it as it goes through past the wicketkeeper. Matt Carter is giving chase down in front of the pavilion, but won't get there. He did actually get to the ball just as it crossed the ropes, but he couldn't stop it going over for another boundary.
He should have kept that in, I think. I think that's not a very good effort from Matt Carter.
He just tried to swing his leg around it. Here's Bracewell down the pitch this time to drive straight down the ground past Samit Patel, and although Shaheen Shah Afridi was only probably about 15 yards round the boundary from it, he couldn't get there because it was absolutely middled again, and it's 4 more to Bracewell.
Well, if it
played, what power play is there thought at the moment?
If it started off as the D'Oliveira show, it's quickly becoming the Bracewell show.
Yeah, they've now each faced 20 balls. And Bracewell's got 48, D'Oliveira's got 44. This one's played out towards mid-wicket again, this time straight to Matthew Montgomery all along the floor. And that means it's just a single, because you might not be surprised to hear that Bracewell hit it quite hard, so it went to him quite quickly. And they only had time this time to run 1. 98 for no wicket. Samit Patel to D'Oliveira, who's in danger of being out here, and he's been caught at last. Notts get a breakthrough, and on the sweep, on the boundary, deep backward square, it is taken by Colin Munro, and Samit Patel does get his wicket, having come into the attack in the first over out of the power play. It's been another expensive one for Notts, but finally they've got the breakthrough. D'Oliveira goes for 44, and the Rapids are 98 for 1.
D'Oliveira getting down on the sweep shot, looking to hit that over deep backward square, but instead picking the man out, and that is a really big breakthrough. Samit Patel's been doing it for years. When the team needs him most, he steps up once again. And the Rapids lose their first. They are 98 for 1.
98 for 1 in the 7th over.
He's done his job, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's broken a partnership. He's not quite been able to stem the flow of runs just yet, although we've got, 11 off this over with a ball to come in it. And that's far less expensive than the previous one, which went for 21 off Conor McKerr, that last over of the power play. But D'Oliveira gone for 44. And Jack Haynes is the new batsman. Picked out before the start of the game by Dave Bracegirdle as very much one to watch, and he's played this one very pleasantly up towards long off for a single to get off the mark with his first ball, and that is the end of the over. Samit Patel's first. It cost him 12, but it got that crucial breakthrough.
Very crucial breakthrough, Colin. I think Notts desperately needed a wicket there, just to have an end to bowl at. Bracewell was starting to tee off. D'Oliveira was also teeing off, so maybe have a little bit of respite as Haynes comes into the crease and can just get a little bit of, well, time to breathe. Desperately need it.
Stephen Mullaney now brings himself into the attack. 99 for 1 on BBC Radio Nottingham on our FM frequencies, as Stephen Mullaney runs in towards us from the pavilion end, and this is played off a little bit of an inside edge and towards long on for a trotted single from Haynes as Joe Clark runs in to do the fielding. Jody Law about to start with the Girls' Night In on BBC Radio Nottingham's digital radio, and also on your smart speaker. Here on FM, we're staying with the cricket through to its conclusion. The shadows just start to lengthen a little bit, but it's another cloudless night at Trent Bridge as this is played by Bracewell up towards Joe Clark again, long off, and again they'll go through for a single. Now Bracewell has his 50. Half century for Bracewell has come from 22 balls, 2 sixes and 6 fours. And we've seen some monstrous hitting. Those 2 sixes were massive into the Smith-Cooper stand. This is played by Haynes through extra cover for another single. But certainly with the wicket and the relaxation of the restrictions, fielding-wise, things have just calmed down a little bit from where Worcestershire were. Here's Mullaney again into Bracewell. He's played this uppishly, but it's going to fall safe in between Munro and Clark. Out on the offside. And they run through for 2.
What Mullaney seems to be doing here, he seems to be taking a lot of pace off the ball, bowling a lot of cutters into the wicket, making it really difficult as he comes in again.
It's into Bracewell, and this is swung at and missed. Wicketkeeper is standing up, couldn't quite take it cleanly, Tom Moores. It's pretty wide-ish as well. It's exactly what Stephen Mullaney's done for years as well, isn't it? We talked about Samit Patel in the last over. And Stephen Mullaney's come on and done this job at about the same stage of so many innings. Bracewell hits this one a little bit harder, but again he's going to find Joe Clark out at long off. Misfield, that'll enable them to get back for 2. Now that's the end of the over. It's 106 for 1, so just 7 off that over. So just signs that not at least halting that crazy run rate that Worcestershire was showing. By Shanmugam had to be pretty smartish to get out of the way of that.
He did. He had to be on his toes. Had to be on his toes. Evasive action.
First boundary for Haynes. 110 for 1. And in comes Samit Patel again. This next one is chopped away onto the offside towards cover boundary where Montgomery fields. Just 1 this time for Haynes. He's on to 8. Michael Bracewell has 54 from 25 balls. And Samit Patel is over the wicket to the left-hander. He's played this away, not quite exactly where he intended to. Ends up going to deep backward square.